This is the second of two videos I've done recently featuring kitchen appliances that are designed to make breakfast easier or more interesting. This one I'm going to be looking at the Rollie vertical grill. In the other video I looked at the Hamilton Beach breakfast sandwich maker. Anyway, on with the Rollie vertical grill review. Does this look appetizing? Well, that's your breakfast served courtesy of the Rollie. Let's go into it in some more detail. It comes in a box like this. It's one of these sort of mail order things. So if you plan on giving it to someone as a gift, bear that in mind. It's not a particularly attractive box. Here's what's inside the box though. There's the Rollie vertical grill itself. There's a kind of tamper type device that you might use like in a cannon for sort of shoving things down inside a barrel. Some wooden sticks there, skewers, and a sort of cleaning tool there for pushing down inside it to clean it out once you've finished using it. Now, there are a few different recipes in the manual, mostly based around eggs, but if you look at some of these here, they try and sort of vary it a little bit, and there are some that don't involve any eggs at all. But overall, it's kind of designed pretty much for cooking sort of breakfast type things. I'm going to try and do some of these recipes in the video, but let's look at the Rollie itself. Well, it looks a little bit like a big travel mug, but of course it's got those two lights on the bottom there that kind of give it away a little bit that it isn't one of those. It's got that rubber bit in the middle for holding it as well though. The top there, you can see it's just got the one hole in it for putting all the stuff in through, and of course it's got a US plug. I imported this one from the US. It uses 120 volts, 210 watts. And that means, of course, because I'm using it in the UK, I'm going to have to use my big step-down transformer. You might not need one this big, but it's the only one I've got. But 210 watts is quite a lot, actually, so you will need a quite hefty one. Anyway, we've got it powered up. You can see the red light on there. We're waiting for the green light to come on now to say it's ready to work, and there we go, it's lit up. It does take longer than that, of course. It takes a minute or so. Right, now the first thing you have to do with every recipe, put some cooking spray in it, some anti-stick stuff, you know, just to stop everything sticking inside it. Now, in this first recipe, all I'm going to do is cook 2 eggs. So obviously what I have to do is break 2 eggs, because you can't make eggs without breaking some eggs, and put them inside the top of the Rollie there. You can see that it's cooking away inside, bubbling away. Now here is the weird bit. It starts to pop up when it's finished cooking. There's nothing inside it. There's no sort of mechanism. All it is the things expanding and popping out of the top, which of course tells you that it's ready to eat. So I'm going to tip this one out on this glass tray, the little clip you saw at the start there, the little teaser video, and I'll show you what you get. Now, doesn't this look appetizing? Here we go, breakfast ready. That looks great, doesn't it? It ends up a little bit like a rolled up omelette, I suppose. I'm going to cut into it now to show you how well it's cooked. Of course, you can vary the time so you can get the yolk a little bit more runny than this, but you're going to have to cook it for a similar length of time so that the thing's solid enough to pop out of the end, of course. And there you go, that's how I've cooked mine. So it's almost like a hard yolk in that one. But yeah, that's your breakfast. Anyway, next thing, let's try a different recipe. This one again, of course, involving eggs. We have to put the spray in there. But what I'm going to do here, a pre-cooked sausage and an egg. Pretty simple recipe, really. This is designed sort of breakfast on the go. Have you ever wanted to have a savoury breakfast lolly, or popsicle as you'd say in America? Well, this thing will make one of those for you, just what you've always wanted. And of course, it starts popping up at the end here, this one. A little bit weird. It kind of sort of gave up and went back down again, which was a little bit odd. It was a bit like sort of the end of Titanic, you know, when it sort of pops up and then goes back under again. But I managed to rescue this from the Rollie, and here it is now. If you thought the last thing looked a little bit unappetizing for your breakfast, not too sure what you'll think of this. You might actually like it, I don't know. I don't think I pushed that sausage down in there far enough. But there you go. So the egg's all sort of at the bottom and the sausage is at the top. But again, that's your sort of breakfast on the go stick. Right. Okay, let's up the ante a bit. Let's make something a little bit more elaborate. This is a breakfast burrito with an egg, some cheese, and again a sausage chopped up, and of course a tortilla. Now the tortilla, you can't just use it at that size. It's too big to fit in the device. You've got to cut it to a certain size, which is conveniently on the back of the manual. So again, I'll just sort of cut it to that template so that we know it fits inside the Rollie. Right, now here we go, the usual thing. What we're doing is we're going to put all the ingredients in this bowl, mix them up together, and then we're going to put those inside our tortilla inside the machine and make our breakfast burrito. And that's the thing you don't really get in the UK, by the way. If you're watching this in America, nobody ever has a breakfast burrito over here. I don't think anyone sells them, and it's not really something that we're familiar with, but I'm going to try making one anyway. Now, of course, the idea is you make this sort of around the outside there so you can put your stuff in the middle. Now the problem is I think I made this too chunky, to be honest. It didn't really fit in it very well. It seemed to go over the top. I kind of put too much in. As a result, it started spilling out of the top a little bit as it was cooking, and the whole thing emerged much too early. It kind of jumped out a lot sooner than it should do, really, which means that it wasn't cooked properly. Now there's no way in hell I'm going to try eating this thing. I'm not suicidal. You can see all the eggs sort of coming out of the top there, so obviously it's hardly cooked at all. I had to pull it out with these tongues. It's just supposed to pop out, I think. You can flip it over, apparently, put it back in the other way if you want to cook it a little bit more, but obviously this one wouldn't do that. As you can see here, when I cut into it, it's very raw inside. I don't think I'd want to eat that unless I was trying to commit suicide. So let's try something else now. This one, something completely different, nothing to do with eggs. Going to cook a burger in it. Well, kind of a burger, like a sausage-shaped burger. Just plop it in there. You can't have it the full length of the thing. You've got to make it about halfway up so that it's got a bit of room to expand, a bit of room for the fat to jump around in. And then put a wooden skewer in it as well, so you can get it out at the end, of course, because it might get stuck to the sides. As you can see here, cooking away. Takes about 8 minutes, this one. After 8 minutes, here I am pulling it out. And you know what? That actually doesn't look bad at all. I mentioned in another video, I don't really have a sense of taste at the moment, but looking at it, that looks like a burger kind of should do. Nicely charred on the outside there, cutting into it, cooked all the way through, no red bits, so that's good. Let's have a go. Well, it's got the right sort of texture, seems quite juicy as well, so don't mind if I do. Okay, so that was a bit of a light-hearted look at the Rollie, and I only bought this because it looked ridiculous in the demonstration video, but after using one myself I realised that it can be a bit of fun. You can experiment with your food and try and mix different things together inside it, and in fact you could even use one, say, in a student dorm room for cooking your breakfast or midnight snacks or whatever, but bear in mind you're going to have access to water to clean it out, although that's not really usually a concern for students. Anyway, for the moment, thanks for watching.